American Pharoah is at his new home now in Woodford County. I'll tell you what his future holds coming up.
The Kentucky Wildcats are in action tonight in their first exhibition game of the season. Rob Bromley is live from Rupp Arena, now at 4.
Our first week of November off and running, and it feels a little more like the final week of September. But I do have big changes showing up in the extended forecast just ahead.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Milder air is moving into the bluegrass. We'll likely see the 70s for this first full week of November. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris, a nice Monday.
Yeah, it really is for a lot of the area. Jennifer, though, we've got this clearing line that is right on top of the Lexington area now. To the south and southeast, it's been mainly cloudy skies. To the north and west of Lexington, more in the way of some sunshine. But here's the clearing line that is literally right on top of the city of Lexington. You see the clouds off to our east. Temperatures are into the mid-60s, humidity 52%. Winds are coming at us out of the east-northeast at around 9 miles per hour. There is the clearing line showing up with a little rain across southeastern Kentucky. Defender radar network picking up on sunshine to the west and a lot of clouds and some of those lighter rains across southeastern Kentucky with a big area of low pressure that is bypassing the bluegrass state this go around. It's across parts of the Carolinas. That'll continue to zip on through. High pressure across the region spells nice weather and mild weather for the next couple of days. So it's a mild week with some big changes that show up into that weekend forecast, Jennifer. But between now and then, it is a taste of late September here across central and eastern Kentucky. We'll show you what we mean by those weekend changes in 15 minutes.
We'll see you then, Chris. American Pharoah has a new home this afternoon after winning the Breeders' Cup for the Grand Slam of Thoroughbred Racing. Dozens of fans were at Keeneland this morning to help send off the champion. Sean Moody is in for sales with a look at where American Pharoah will be spending the next year. It's our top story at 4.
Well, for so long now, American Pharoah has really just been the center of attention. Even after his Breeders' Cup win, people were stopping by his stall to grab selfies with him. He's out of the spotlight for a little while now here at Ashford Stud to adjust to life on the farm, but you'll be able to see him soon. American Pharoah got a big send-off from Keeneland this morning with the police escort to his new home at Ashford Stud in Woodford County. It's not too bad a retirement home as he begins his new career off the racetrack as a stud. The Ashford Stud staff were thrilled to get the first ever Grand Slam champion onto their property. They'd all been cheering for him pretty loudly as he ran his final race over the weekend. They said it was emotional to see him finish his racing career, but they're looking forward to a successful stud career. He'll spend some time out of the public eye getting used to farm life, but the public will be allowed to see him in a few weeks.
We want to let him settle into life here at Ashford Stud first, so we're not going to begin our tours until probably the beginning or middle of December for our tourists.
American Pharoah will officially begin his stud season in February. In Woodford County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
When Ashford Stud begins public tours, you can get tickets at visithorseCountry.com. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is responding to an allegation that he's connected to a hate group. The statement comes after reports the hacker group Anonymous is threatening to release the names of hundreds of Ku Klux Klan members. A post on an internet message board site called Pastebin links Jim Gray and several other political figures across the country to the leak. Mayor Gray released this statement saying this allegation is false, insulting, and ridiculous. I have never had any relationship of any kind with the KKK. I am opposed to everything it stands for. I have no idea where this information came from, but wherever it came from, it is wrong. We'll talk to a local NAACP leader about the report on WKYT News at 6. It's election eve, and the two major party candidates for governor are crisscrossing Kentucky. Republican Matt Bevin started his day in Louisville, where he received support from U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He also had a rally at Bluegrass Airport in Lexington. Democrat Jack Conway met voters at Wild Eggs in Lexington before heading to other stops. Conway leads Bevin in the latest WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass poll. We'll hear from the candidates coming up at 4:30. The preseason AP men's basketball poll is out, and the Kentucky Wildcats are ranked second behind North Carolina. The Cats have their first exhibition game tonight against Ottawa at Rupp Arena. Rob Bromley is there live with a preview. Hi, Rob.
Hello, Jennifer, and it was the blue-white game last week. Tonight, as you said, it is the first exhibition against Ottawa, the alma mater of UK Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart coming into Rupp Arena. Now, it was, as I said, the blue-white game last week, but the players and coaches certainly eager to get out on the court against another team. John Calipari will be able to find out a lot more about his guys and what they're able to do.
Again, when you split the unit, this isn't last year where you have two platoons. When you split guys up, you know, it's hard in this kind of setting. I'm anxious to play a couple exhibition games, even, you know, they're not league games, but they're still, you know, teams that are going to have organization and have played, you know, for 2 months versus our, you know, 3 weeks. But you got to fight, you got to defend, you got to do it together, and, you know, so we're going to see.
First exhibition game of the year tonight against Ottawa. No TV, just the SEC Network Plus. So the game is on the internet. Dave Baker, Ravi Moss, and Matt Jones will be on the call there. You can go to ESPN3 on the internet and find the game there. I'll have much more coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll hear how freshman Isaac Humphries is coming along, the big Australian. That'll be at 5. But for now, that's it from here at Rupp Arena. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Rob. Tonight's game is a 7 o'clock tip-off. Well, our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. Dozens of people have been searching for a missing Southern Kentucky woman today. The family of Whitney Copley organized the search, and many people responded. The search is taking place on the Russell-Casey County line. Copley was last seen after she told one of her sisters she was going out, but she's not been seen since. That was more than a month ago. Relatives say she has never been gone this long before. We'll have an update on the search ahead on WKYT News at 4:30. School was canceled in Lincoln County today because of a threat. Graffiti, including a message reading, "You getting shot down Monday," was found outside Crab Orchard Elementary. Since the threat was specific, Lincoln County school officials decided to cancel classes today.
Hard to say we're going to go ahead and have school, because then if something happened, you would be very regretful. Our students' safety and our staff safety is always.
A message was also found on a dentist office reading, "City Hall, November 2nd, 5:30, boom." Police have increased security at that building and will make sure it is empty at 5:30 tonight. Police don't think the threats are connected. We'll have more details on the threats ahead on WKYT News at 5:30. And a semi-driver died last night while trying to help another driver. The Laurel County coroner says a car hit the back of 46-year-old Pavel Zhirko's semi last night on I-75 in Laurel County. We're told a car hit him when he got out to help the driver. No other information about the crash has been released. We'll have more from Laurel County on WKYT News at 5. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to a story making headlines across the nation at 4. Republican presidential candidates, unhappy with the way TV debates have been conducted, are pushing back on networks, coming up with a list of changes they say would make the process more substantive. But the revolt is being met with criticism by some who say the next commander-in-chief should be willing to handle tough questions. Carl Cameron has more from Washington.
Representatives from more than a dozen Republican presidential campaigns met just outside of Washington Sunday night in an effort to exert more control over future debates in the wake of last week's CNBC debate, which the candidates have panned for gotcha questions, liberal bias, and arbitrary enforcement of the debate rules.
No one likes being asked gotcha questions that are outside the rules of the debate.
Some of the requested changes will be listed in a forthcoming letter to the networks from the campaigns. They include limiting the debate to 2 hours, giving each candidate equal time to answer an equal number of questions, control over the graphics that appear on screen, and some even wanted to control the room temperature.
The information flow has not been nearly what it's been in past years. Campaigns have been able, should be able to get information about the details of the debate far sooner than they have so far this cycle.
RNC Chairman Reince Priebus sent a letter to NBC last week putting its debate in February on hold in the wake of the CNBC debate controversies. Trump and Carson have threatened to boycott some if changes aren't made, but all the candidates will attend the upcoming FBN debate next week in Milwaukee. Some say debating debates is really not presidential.
Stop complaining. You know, do me a favor, set up a stage, put podiums up there, and let's just go.
That was Carl Cameron reporting. Networks that host debates are under no obligation to adopt any of the changes coming out of yesterday's meeting. But if they don't, some of the candidates could boycott, which serves no purpose for the networks or the candidates. Stocks starting the week with losses. The Dow down 24 points to close at 17,756. The Nasdaq fell 21. The third enrollment period for Obamacare is now underway, and many people are getting hit with sticker shock. Premiums are going up an average of 7.5%, but they could be much higher depending on where you live. Analysts say market consolidation and rising drug prices are partly to blame. It seems Americans want to clip coupons the old-fashioned way. A new survey from creditcards.com finds 85% of shoppers still use paper coupons from newspapers, flyers, and mailings. 18 to 24-year-olds say they're about twice as likely to use paper coupons as online discount codes or other online coupons. Restaurants have become noisy places, but now some are designing new spaces to bring down the noise. Jill Wagner takes a look.
At many restaurants these days, entrees are dished out with a side of decibels. Open kitchens, hard surfaces, and close quarters have created a lively atmosphere, but it can also be hard to have a conversation. Earlier this year, CBS News found some restaurants can reach decibel levels similar to city traffic or even a jackhammer. But at Ocean Prime in New York, General Manager Zach Montgomery is dialing down the noise.
We want our restaurant to be live and energetic, but yet at the same time you and I can sit here and have a conversation.
Ocean Prime built this new restaurant with sound in mind.
It's not really the loudness that's the problem, it's actually the echoes and the reverberation. That's when you get to the point where you can't hear yourself think.
They brought in Greg Merkel from I Crave Design, who put stretched vinyl in the ceiling to absorb sound. A glass wall allows the kitchen to be seen and not heard. Carpet on the floors and padding on the walls also keep conversations quiet.
So this padding is behind all of that fabric?
Yep, that's right. So here you can see, you can push on it, it's soft, it absorbs the sound.
Merkel says many restaurants are making similar changes to adjust the acoustics. Some even put padding under tables to suck in sound.
Our clients are more cognizant of it.
Ocean Prime still uses music to give their restaurant a lively feel, but the design allows customers to dine without the din. Jill Wagner, CBS News, New York.
Well, first, an overall look at traffic flow, live drive flow this afternoon, and we can see that the interstate seems to be okay on in toward Richmond and Scott County, 75 north and southbound. Circle, no major slowdowns, little backup on the exit ramp from New Circle to Leestown. And as far as drive times are concerned, right now, looks like we're dealing with normal stuff. If you headed out to Georgetown from Lexington toward Richmond, Nicholasville, Winchester, Mount Sterling, so far, nothing major to report. We'll keep you up to date throughout the afternoon. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Don. This is a big week for country music with CMA Awards Week in Music City.
Yeah, always a busy week in Nash Vegas. Deanne Stevens out and about in Nashville with Thomas Rhett. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here in Nashville for CMA Week, an incredible kickoff when you got a guy like Thomas Rhett with you. How is the week going so far? I mean, this is it. This is big time for you.
The week is very good. You know, we've been in rehearsals, and so this is my first CMA performance ever. So getting ready for that, and looking forward to the award show.
That's so exciting to be a CMA performer, isn't it? When you were added to that lineup, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just like, you know, I got on the phone call with the guy that produces the show, and I was like, man, you really, you want me to play on it? And so, you know, to get to do it with somebody like Fall Out Boy, it's just going to be something super different for the show, and looking forward to it.
All right, cool. You're going to be on the red carpet, right?
Yeah.
Those collaborations are really cool, too, when you do things like that. Is there somebody like you're dying to do a collaboration with down the road, maybe?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people. I'm trying to think now, though. Me and Bruno, I feel like could do a good job. Well, maybe we'll ask him for next year. So.
And your new single out right now,
yes,
a love song about your wife.
Yes, it is. It's called Die Happy Man, and it's just doing crazy good. And you know, every time we play it out live, it's funny to me watching all the dudes out in the crowd singing like every word to a love song. But it's just been so cool to put a song out that's really personal like that and have it do well. So.
All right. Well, best of luck this week. We cannot wait to see you perform Wednesday night for the CMAs. Thomas Rhett with us. We'll have more from Nashville.
It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Instead of hand sanitizer, you can now use paint. Sherwin-Williams is launching a new antibacterial paint that's supposed to kill infection-causing bacteria. The product can be used on hard, non-porous ceilings, walls, doors, and trim, and is reportedly effective for up to 4 years. It'll be available early next year in nearly 600 colors and in the U.S. in 2016. It'll come at a premium. 1 gallon will sell for about $85. Chipotle says it's temporarily closing all 43 of its restaurants in the Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon areas due to a reported E. coli outbreak. Nearly 24 people have been sickened by the bacteria, with the last one reported a week ago. The exact source of the contamination has not been determined, but health officials say they expect the number of cases to climb as more people go to get checked out. So far, Chipotle says there's no evidence linking the bacteria to other locations. Waking up several times throughout the night is more detrimental to your mood than getting the same shortened amount of sleep without interruption. Researchers tracked more than 60 healthy men and women who were randomly subjected to either 8 forced awakenings a night, delayed bedtimes, or uninterrupted sleep. Researchers found participants who were disrupted throughout the night reported the most negative moods.